messages from a few people asking where I've been, what I've been up to. I'm in preparation to see my mom, and she is out. I'm going to go all the way out to Europe to see her. So she's out in Rome, so she wants me to come out there. Had to head to her house, which I'm staying at, which is kind of fun, uh, and deal with my passport and deal with all that. So I've been away from some very important things, although I think I'll be back at the right time. But I'll wait for some people to get in and chat with people, and I'll give my thoughts on the ZDT Warrant situation. Hey, Lauren, nice to have you. Hey, Scientology, Ottawa. As you can see, it's a very snowy day. This is my mom's house that I stay at sometimes. Good morning. What's up, gang? Nice to have the gang. I think this will be a quick live, but I wanted to update everybody on everything. Hopefully the reception is decent. I don't think it's great, but hopefully it's good enough. Always be kind. Gorgeous snowy landscape. Thank you. Yeah, it's stunning. It's stunning. The dog is enjoying it. He's a big snow fan. Well, it's cold, so I don't go live as often when it's cold because it's just hard not to shiver and shake the camera. And then extend your fingers outside. But there's obviously a lot happening. I'll do a pre-record on the ZDT as well once I research even a little more of what's happening, but I figured I'd give a general rundown. I thought he was arrested. Well, he has a warrant, so I guess we'll start with some clarifications. ZDT has a warrant out for his arrest, meaning that if he has any interaction with police, he has an outstanding warrant, they take him in, and they take him into whatever the Los Angeles version is of central bookings. But I don't, unless I'm missing something that happened just today, at least as far as I am aware of from yesterday, he hasn't gotten arrested yet. But guys, let me know if I'm incorrect about that. But yes, lots of snow. You don't see that in LA. Thank you for covering this, Dodge. I hope you're doing well. Thank you. I am. You'll be seeing me cover a lot more, especially if there are court hearings with ZDT. That would be fascinating. I'm hoping there's a month gap process in between now. Well, nothing's going to happen for Christmas, and I'm going to be out in LA by late January. So I'm hoping February is where a lot of things happen. But I don't think he's been arrested yet. So as far as I'm aware, there's a warrant, and it's going to be low priority. So there's a lot of warrants. Most of the warrants, police officers don't actually actively hunt down and go and arrest a person. So there could be a warrant for somebody for not paying for public transit, and they didn't respond to a ticket. Now, obviously, ZDT's is way more serious than that, but it's not as serious as, maybe some sort of theft, robbery, larceny, some more serious stuff. I'd say it would be minor enough where nobody's going to go out actively and randomly arrest him. But then again, look what happened to Henry, right? So that was for the most minor, for the vandalism thing, which there's usually never any follow-up. And the dude just got arrested. Look what happened to Josiah. Josiah was something similar. Josiah was still relatively minor, certainly more minor than DDT's, and then all of a sudden they showed up. So, no, he's live right now, I figured. I think William Gu has been following this around. Yes, as well. So he has the feeling that they're actively putting in motion them showing up to ZDT's house and arresting him. That's what he says. I don't know. It might make sense to me, because also what could happen is somebody could have influence, right? If there's somebody pressuring somebody, LAPD, or if there's somebody that has a contact, then that might get shit, and there's nothing wrong with that. That might get shifted in their priority list. So, I would say in normal circumstances, ZDT would have to have an interaction with the police where the police would have to ask for his ID. Then they'd see that he has a warrant. Then he goes to jail. So, it means you're on thin ice if you ever get pulled over for any reason or whatever, then you're in jail. But if you stay in your house ostensibly, you probably wouldn't get arrested. Although, this might be a different circumstance. So that would be my theory on it. And, you know, it's possible he never gets arrested, right? He could say a lot of stuff on the internet, but if he doesn't go out and commit a crime or a police stoppable offense, I don't know. I mean, they could come to your door, but are they going to do that in the middle of LA? That's kind of the question. My theory is they're not. That would be my theory. I would say don't get your hopes up. There's a warrant. You could call to say that you know where somebody is who has a warrant. Well, they actually are. Maybe I'm being, but I might be overly pessimistic. But that's kind of my theory. That unless ZDT's, I think it's only a matter of time ultimately. So I'm going to say ZDT might be arrested in 4 months from now, but I wouldn't say anytime soon. That's called a bench. Yeah, it would be a bench warrant. That's accurate. If he would ever go to court, I mean, if he tries to go to court, he'd be arrested. That would be my assumption. Because then, you know, I mean, I could be there. I don't know. Well, I probably would do it. So I could be there and I could just be like, hey, this guy showing up to court has a warrant and he's literally in court. So that would be fairly easy. That would be a different circumstance too. I mean, never underestimate ZDT's ability to make things worse for himself. Like, I get pulled over or interact with cops maybe once every 5 or 6 months. But never underestimate ZDT's stupidity and his ability to self-sabotage. So, you know, I say this as in, oh, he's just going to stay out of trouble and he won't drive his car and there'll be no interaction with the police. But, you know, well, I don't even think he has a car, right? But, you know, never underestimate him. Never. Don't he have a court date in January? He might. I mean, because I know there's a bunch of ROs. Well, there's two ROs in addition to Solomon with Henry and DOA. I do believe that there's, I know, you're talking about Henry. Yeah, Henry has a court date on January 23, but probably not full trial. That the full trial, it looks like they're going to go to trial, and the trial would happen in February, and I would be there in time in February to cover the trial. Yeah, he also got dates on, okay, right, so 123. So maybe Henry, the one on 123 is the RO. So the RO I might miss, sadly, I don't know. He has to show up at the end of January. He probably won't, so my guess is there's going to be a court hearing beyond that. Well, there's always has been. With Solomon, there wasn't one court hearing. So my guess is there's going to be something in the January 23rd. I won't be able to make it, but my guess is what will happen is, sorry, what were we talking about? Oh, that there'll be a continuance, so he won't show up, or they'll say he didn't respond, and I don't think it's going to be an automatic granted. My guess is that the ZDT might have his lawyer remark something via Court Connect or something, not in person, and then that would happen. Sorry, guys, got signed off for a second. But that would be my guess. So all these things get kicked down the road, and usually they get 1 or 2 opportunities to respond. So usually one RO hearing can turn into 3 or 4. That would be the average in my situation, or that would be the average in my estimation. So all these things last forever. So it's interesting. So if you're looking at like ZDT, okay, he has his own warrant. Who knows how he'll plead if he faces any charges? So that could be his own court date. But then these other two court skirmishes with Henry and DOA, initially it looks like it's one date, but ultimately the can will get kicked down the road, and there'll be a multitude of hearings, and it'll probably last at least up until March, probably April, would be my assumption, because usually there's about a month gap between each hearing and each schedule. So it's going to be a lot of, so I'll be there for that. It'll be a lot of ZDT material. A lot. And then if ZDT gets arrested, and there's that whole situation, you'll never know how he's going to plead. But, again, he just has to self-sabotage. And it's perfectly possible this is low priority. He doesn't get arrested anytime soon. He stays out of trouble. But again, if he has any interaction with a cop, and the cop asks to see his ID, then he will be arrested. Audio dropped. Ooh. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?